Oh, the topic of inspiration. I asked a question in our little 10-minute guided warm up today. And the question was, can we inspire ourselves? Can I inspire myself? Can you inspire yourself? Seems sort of a fundamental question. Can I just go inside of myself and conjure up inspiration inside of myself? And of course, that would beg the question, is inspiration necessary, needed, or wanted? Do you feel as though you need and utilize and require inspiration in your life? Does it make a difference to you? Would you like a large dollop of inspiration? What is inspiration? Fresh, brand new experience, new insight, new angles on reality, larger perspective, new ways of doing things, solutions to problems, large flooding influxes of joy and love and light, happy, joyous, and free. These would seem to be, there's no one way to define inspiration. It seems as though one could define it in several important ways. But the question is, can you inspire yourself? And as I asked myself that question, it seemed to me the answer was, no, I can't inspire myself. I need, as simply as I can say it, I need a power greater than myself to inspire me. Now, who's going to agree with that? Those who would agree. There are others who'd say, well, I can just go inside of myself and marshal my inner faculties and resources and whip up a fresh batch of inspiration this day. I don't need to go outside of myself. But I'm just one of those people who is highly relying and dependent and always seeking, to the best that I can, a power greater than myself, because I need that inspiration. Now, when it comes to being inspired from on high, so to speak, whatever one would consider a higher power to be, and isn't it merciful and beautiful and astonishing that we all get a higher power of our own understanding? Whatever the higher power is, I think one of the most astonishing spiritual teachings, I've never heard it described as succinctly and as brilliantly as when Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount says, he talks about the lilies of the field and the way that they don't twist and toil, and that even Solomon, from my understanding, Jesus used the example of Solomon as being the most exemplary, amazing human that he could have used as an example. Even Solomon was not arrayed as one of these lilies in the field, and that they don't twist and toil. And he goes on to say that, look at the birds in the air and the creatures of the earth and how they're clothed and they're perfectly taken care of by God, love, source, the universe, for all their needs. And how much more so we spiritual beings, we humans, are or could be taken care of if we would, well, what's the key to this? Array ourselves. When you think about flowers, you ever seen the flowers that all line up when the sun comes up and they turn themselves toward the sun and they follow the sun across the sky all day long? Now, if that is not perfectly analogous, Chills, that's not perfectly metaphorical to the very large array of radio telescopes in New Mexico just rotating through the sky as they're aiming at something. But the lilies of the field are more astonishing than the greatest human that's ever lived when they align themselves at the source of power. Of course, the source of power for a flower is the sun, and the source of power for us is the spiritual sun that's always shining. What did Sting say? There has to be an invisible sun that gives its gift to everyone. And without that, we are bereft. But with it, we shine brightly. And as spiritual beings, we are taken care of in the same way that the fish and the fowl and the beasts are, but we're fed with spiritual food. And spiritual food is this inspiration, is this joy, is this verve and, well, nothing less, I would say, than lust for life in its deepest and most profound sense. So this day, array yourself in alignment with the invisible sun that gives its light to everyone. Sorry, Sting. But that's what I'm going to try to do. And definitely ask. We are invited to ask. When you ask, you receive. It's the greatest spiritual promise. And the only problem is people don't ask. So ask big, ask for inspiration that you need this day. And we'll check in tomorrow and see how much more inspiration we can accommodate. Have a beautiful day, everybody.